Hello. Welcome back to Higurashi. Oh man, I'm excited to get back into this chapter. I wasn't going to record this night, but I mean last half of the chapter was a banger. I mean, it was very entertaining. I don't want to say it was fun, but it was entertaining for me. Naturally, probably not for Shion. Um But yeah, I'm in a good mood in general. You know, I've been bitching about work all last week, but now it's kind of back to normal, so that's good. um Also, I was like reading the comments from 2 episodes ago, and Anatar, just quick shout out, even though I said it in the reply. His freaking nail pun for the next episode actually made me like spit water out. It was hilarious. But yeah, it was pretty brutal. Probably like the most violent thing we've seen, because we've definitely seen some messy stuff too. But I guess it's different if you actually see the torture happening. It's kind of like a different thing than the Satoko thing, which I would consider also pretty violent. I mean, just the constant abuse and stuff like that. But that was interesting. What else should I say? Um, I was trying to connect that more. Like, if we can find any more connections besides the obvious Keiichi torture scene, this didn't feel similar at all, except for like the self-sacrifice thing. But not even that. Keiichi also was like at the end, like, actually, if you can let me live, that'd be cool too. Um, but yeah, it was cool. I'm excited to see where this chapter continues. I'm sure the sisters' relationship is probably messed up now. um, this could probably be why the divide happened. Though I still think there is a chance where Shion forgives Mion. But I still think what's going to happen is when Satoshi's disappearance happens, whether the Sonozakis were involved or not, Shion's gonna hate them, and that's probably the main point of discourse there between them. But I'm sure Shion's not feeling very friendly with Mion right now. But it's interesting. It's interesting how Mion's been acting. Well, she had her cute moments. She had her like stone cold moments, but she hasn't. We haven't seen any form of craziness in her. If anything, that's all been in Shion, which again might be pointing to Shion being the antagonist in watching Higurashi. I mean, that's just the vibes I'm getting. But yeah, it was something, huh? Um, but yeah, that's what I think's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen in this chapter. Probably see Kasai. Probably sees what's happened with Satoshi while we were away from him. If he's what he and Oishi talked about. I still think it's possible that Oishi covered for Satoshi. But at the same time, I don't hate the idea that the. I mean, I don't know. Would the Sonozakis do it now that Mion went through the pain? Probably not. I mean, Mion, Shion. I'm confusing myself now. But yeah, let's just get into this. Torture. We're getting the sad Dear You version. Is this gonna be a sad episode? I don't think it's gonna be a happy one, but I just want to see Shion's positions on things after that scene and how her relationships with Kasai, Mion, and Satoshi are, I guess, the main ones. Sorry, Uncle, whatever. I forgot your name already. And the mom. The mom was kind of there, but she didn't seem to like it. I don't know how much Shion's gonna like her mom anymore, despite her liking her before, because she didn't really help. But obviously, it's not much you can do in that situation, right? Also, there's a cool thing where like, where Mion admits like, yeah, maybe you're not doing anything wrong, but we're the Sonozakis. We have to do this. Obviously, that could be taken as a pride thing, which I think is the main thing, but that can also go back to the script thing. It's like, yeah, we don't want to do. I mean, you might be right, but we literally have to do this. This is our purpose. So, two sides, which are almost the same thing. But yeah, let's actually get into this. I want to see where this happens. I think Shion needs a Satoshi right now. Just give her a Satoshi to comfort her. I woke up and I swear this freaking lamp. Can I show like it's in like well now I can't see anything because it's glitched. But like I always see this freaking lamp in this is a lamp too, I think. I think this was a lamp. It's everywhere. Always wake up to the lamp. Hi, Mr. Lamp. I woke up. Alright, let's actually go. My memories were missing. I couldn't remember how I got back to my room. I held my head with both hands. My left hand was bandaged. I wonder what's worse. What was worse potential torture? I mean, what was worse torture? Keiichi's or Shion's? Now, Keiichi didn't actually go through with it. But, like, I don't know. I hate fingernail stuff, but actually today at work, I kind of, like, jabbed my fingertip into, like, Velcro, and somehow it messed up my hand for a good 5 minutes. Like, it, like, pricked into my, like, the fingertip exactly, like right at the edge, and it freaking hurt like hell. So I don't know what I think. I think the, you know, just from my taste, I think the poking the fingertip sounds a bit cooler and more unique, but the giant fingernail clip thing was. They're both brutal. I don't know. I don't know. Good old torture, huh? I wonder if we'll get any more torture. Probably not. I mean, there's only the one big torture scene in Wata. That maybe Shion's gonna get her revenge and torture someone. Again, I still think Oryu might die this arc. And Mion becomes the next head, despite faking it. The only problem I have with that is that the police were, like, monitoring Oryu, and they only said she stopped, going to her classes a couple weeks ago, so I don't know how viable that idea is. Because if the police are always monitoring, then they probably knew Oryu's dead, and it felt like Mion or Shion was just actually keeping that hidden while they murder everyone. They, as in the Sonozaki sister and Rena. Yeah. Something like that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Oryu. Maybe Mion. I was trying to, no bully Mion, but you know what? If anyone can bully Mion right now, it's probably Shion. The fingers that had their nails removed had swollen like hot dogs. Ew. Just imagining that. I'd paid with those 3 fingernails for what I did. The head said something after the punishment, but I didn't remember any of it. I was taken to a hospital in Okonomiya. The car shook on the way, adding extra pain on top of what I already felt. Somebody gave me some aspirin. Like, I can't even imagine the pain she felt. I'm saying, like, all these minor things, like, oh, I bent my fingernail when it's that kind of hurt. But I've never, like, broken a bone or anything. So I just can't imagine. Shion, you're allowed to be grumpy now. You're allowed to be edgy, but I don't know if you can really keep up an edgy appearance right now, huh? They work just like they said on TV, but they didn't last more than 10 minutes. Gotta take the Tylenol, not the aspirin. It's the key to success. I swallowed the pills without water. Well, that's not working. That sucks. Whenever I tried that once and it just got stuck in my throat for like ever. While I was spacing out in the waiting lounge, Kasai showed up. Hello, man. He probably came to check if I was alright. I obviously wasn't. He must have understood that from my bandaged left arm dangling from my shoulder. Kasai, on the other hand, looked just fine, at least on the outside. I was relieved that my sacrifice had meant something. Kasai didn't say anything. I couldn't tell if he wanted to tell me something or not because he looked so emotionless.
Kasai?
なんでしょう?
He paused shortly before answering. I could tell he was upset. It's true, I mean, Xian didn't really think of the consequences for that. Obviously for Satoshi, but on the other hand, she did probably save Satoshi a bit, at least from immediately confessing if he did it. So there's that. I didn't regret revealing my true identity in order to protect Satoshi. Well, there you go. But I hadn't wanted Kasai or Uncle Yoshiro to be hurt. I had been contradicting myself.
Yoshiro-oji-san はどうなったか知ってます?
I swear he was in Watanudashi, or one of the future ones, so I'm guessing he's fine.
いいえ. したたかな方です。ご無事と思います。後で謝られた方がいいでしょう。
I wanted to ask him about Satoshi-kun too. I wondered if he was captured or harassed by the Sonozaki family because of me. Well, I doubt the Sonozakis can just yoink him from Oishi of all people, so... But I was hesitant to ask Kasai. After all, I'd chosen Satoshi-kun over them. Was Satoshi-kun alright? And what stings even worse is he actually does disappear, so... Not saying it's for naught, but it's not a long-term play when it could have been. I hoped he wouldn't get caught or incarcerated somewhere. I paid the hospital bill and Kasai gave me a ride home. Oh, I finally realized that somebody was knocking on my door. Probably...
シオンさん。
Yeah, probably
そろそろ
Kasai.
体を起こしてください。横になり続けるのもやはり体に毒です。
Sleep is for the weak. It was Kasai. The legend. Kasai is definitely the bro in this series. I don't think we're gonna be... I thought that we might become friends with the club members. Like, ease our way into it. But I don't think that's happening. If anyone, it'll probably be Rena, or Satoshi.
気分は落ち着かれましたか?
Oh man, we were in this song and then we switched to normal stuff for like a couple seconds and we're just back into it, huh? It's a weird cut. I kind of like it though.
落ち着いたというか、落ち込んだというか。
この数日間はずっと伏せっていたんですか?
Okay, I was just looking at the voice thing, just checking if I messed up somehow. I didn't. I still don't know what happened. If it wasn't either my microphone volume just cut in half or something else happened, but putting it to like 100% fixed it a bit. I don't actually know if it's too loud. I said I would check, but I literally didn't. So bear with me if this audio's not great this episode, but at least you can hear me. That's probably good enough, right?
食事はされていましたか?
冷蔵庫の中の残り物を適当に食べてました。あとは天井を見てるか眠っているかのどっちか。
It's been 3 days. I've just been lying down since then. I woke up every now and then in my shallow sleep, but I didn't feel like getting up or thinking. I felt like I'd just been floating the whole time. My appetite was gone, but it came back with the smell of the food Tasai brought. I wasn't able to think of anything to talk to Tasai about, so I just ate silently.
昨日ミオンさんから連絡がありました。
What's this had to say?
シオンさんの部屋に何度か電話したけど出なかったからということで。
It's kind of amazing. I don't know. Like, how should Shion take that? Again, if you think about it, it's not like Mion could have really done anything in that situation, even if she wanted to. But I don't even, like, think that she, like, thought it was a bad thing to do since she's so, pro-village. She probably thought it was deserved. But at the same time, she's been helping Shion, like, not get caught. So I don't know. I don't know. The moment I heard Mion's name, I felt my womb stop. Like I said, Shion, honestly, you don't have to like Mion right now. It's totally fair. If there's anyone in a position to not like Mion, it's literally Shion. Though it does make you wonder, like, and then they don't like each other in the next year, but like, what's with this weird dynamic with Mion getting all embarrassed with Shion, and Shion's still feeling super confident over each other. It's kind of weird from what we know right now. But I didn't stop Kasai, who continued.
園崎本家としてはシオンさんがご自分でけじめをつけられたのでこれで決着とするそうです。
Well, that's good.
あの学園には退学届が出されます。
Beautiful.
シオンさんは沖宮の学校に編入になるそうです。
Well, now the grandmother doesn't have to die this year. The main reason I said the grandmother did die is because Shion was allowed back. But I guess they didn't
園
say.
崎シオンの人権が認められたってこと
They
か
didn't say if she's allowed in Hinamizawa. But, I don't know.
そうですね。
At least around Otonomiya.
今後は園崎シオンとして生活してくださって構わないそうです。ですが、緑にひなみ沢には近づかないこと。
Never mind, Grandma being dead is back on the table. Or at least Mia. Maybe she doesn't need to die. Maybe Mia just needs to inherit the title of heir, which I think she needs to die for her to inherit, but don't really know the rules.
園崎ミオンを語らないこと。
Well, she broke 2 of those next year.
人前に緑に姿を現さないこと。
Well, she
他に
broke
も細々とありますが、
everything.
詰まるところ。
So obviously that didn't happen. Maybe that's why Mion was so nervous when Shion popped up. Because she literally... Yeah, maybe like the grandmother didn't die at all, but maybe she got so nervous because Shion was literally just breaking rules without caring. That could be something. And maybe that's why Mion wanted to kill Shion, or at least capture her, because just as punishment, as formally. Maybe like, I don't know. You'd think from this, it like all the if Mion did do the crimes, it all would be because of following the village rules. But again, the unstable aspect, like, I don't know, maybe Keiichi really did affect her that much. It just ruined Shion. I mean, we'll probably know by the end of this, but you know, gotta get those out there.
存在を認めてやるから本家に目立つようなことは二度とするなってわけか。
そういうことになります。もちろん永続的なわけじゃありません。ほとぼりが冷めるまで当分ということです。具体的にいつまでという期限があるわけではありませんが、今年いっぱいくらいはこれまで通り目立たない生活を送られた方がよろしいかと思います。
私は沖宮でひっそり暮らすだけで十分です。もともとこれまでだってそうして暮らしてきたわけだし。
I'm honestly surprised Shion's so composed, but she is mature, obviously for her age, as we've seen before. So good on her. I probably would be so pissy. Kasei put on a sad smile. I smiled back at him likewise. Before the conversation ended, I should ask him what I wanted to know. Well,
サトシ君はどうなったの？
I wish that Kasai would assure me of his safety right away. But he didn't answer like that.
葛西、サトシ君は無事なの？
シオンさん、
Kasai put his chopsticks down. I feel a music cut coming, maybe. Potentially.
本家から北条聡君のことは忘れろとことづかっています。
何それ？
シオンさん、あなたと喧嘩はしたくないんで、これ以上この話はしたくありません。本家からの言葉を伝えるのみにとどめさせてもらいます。
何その話をしたくないってのは。
I mean, it made sense. Especially, like, if he gave you the confidence to talk back to the head, or at least gave you the push, the head or you. It's not like they would like you to hang out with them, especially as Sonozaki with a Hojo just doesn't go well.
葛西、
In the village eyes, anyways. Kasei pretended as though he didn't hear me and started eating again. I never seen him get so stubborn like this. The Sonozaki family had been using the Hojo family as a scapegoat. They must have concluded that a Sonozaki shouldn't be in love with a Hojo. I didn't like that. Satoto is a friend of Mion's at school. Would it be okay if Satoshi-kun and I were the same gender? Anyway, if I did something conspicuous again, they might do something to him for real. Just like how they forced me to remove my own fingernails. The Sonozaki family wouldn't hesitate. They torture him if needed be. I mean, if he needed any proof. Like, last episode was fine. And it was like a bunch of people were watching too. There we go. Maybe if I really loved him, I should stay away. Satoshi-kun won't show up in Okonomiya. Unless he rejoins the Hinamizawa fighters. I'd have to pretend to be Mion if I wanted to go to Hinamizawa. But I didn't think she'd cooperate with me. Probably not a good idea. For now, at least. Even if she did, it'd be some time down the road. Even if they told me not to see him, I already had no means of doing that again. Oh, wait. Mion gave me his number a little while ago. I could call him. And maybe ask to meet him with him secretly. But if I got caught again, they wouldn't cut me any slack. Should I risk it? What the hell did I even want from Satoshi-kun?
葛西、
Good questions.
ちょっと一人になりたい。
Kasei started putting away his food in a rush, assuming that I wanted him to leave.
あ、いいの。葛西はのんびり食べてて。私がちょっと一人で散歩がしたいだけなの。
私もシオンさんと一緒に出ないとこの部屋に鍵がかけられません。
Kasei quickly put away his meal and followed me out.
あ、先に断っとくけど、別にサトシ君に会いに行くわけじゃないからね。
わかりました。
God, I'm so interested in see what... I mean, we definitely won't see what happens to Satoshi-kun, but... Then it'd be actually kind of weird if he learned about how he disappeared, because that feels not like a Watanabe thing. But at the same time, it did say motivations. If we're getting motivations, I feel like I can see the path to Shion being the villain. I don't quite see it for Mion yet, but maybe that will come in time. Because I'm sure Mion doesn't hate Shion, really. Like, I know... I mean, I guess Shion doesn't hate Mion, really, right now. But I can see how Shion could hate Mion eventually. But I don't really see how Mion could hate Shion. again, purely, like, obviously if Shion breaks the rule, she would punish her, but I don't think she would hate her. It's kind of weird. I don't know if that's explaining it right, but hopefully you get that. I turned around and started walking to the classic toy store. My destination was rather pathetic. It was the toy store that sold the giant teddy bear. I couldn't deny that I was somewhat expecting Satoshi-kun to pass by there. I couldn't stop myself at looking at the faces of the passer buyers who resembled him. I looked into the store's window. The teddy bear was gone.
サトシ君おめでとう
What if someone spotted? I mean, no, he reserved it, so I guess he did get it.
変えたんだね
His evil aunt had died, and his wicked uncle was living with his mistress. Satoshi-kun succeeded in fulfilling his duty as a brother by buying his little sister that huge teddy bear. There was nobody left to hurt him. He was free from his tiresome efforts. He was completely free from the pain. Over time, he retrieved his smile. And he'd go back to being the Satoshi-kun I love. But I wouldn't be there with him. I heard a car honking. I didn't think it was honking at me at first, but it was so persistent that I had to look up. Oishi? Maybe? What would it be? The person waving at me from their car was Irie. Okay, that's Oh, I mean, yes, we met Irie, and we're kind of acquainted, so... Okay, what's up, buddy? He was waving at me all carefree, oblivious to my feelings. Still rocking the sunglasses on the pocket, looking nice.
ご無沙汰していますね。あ、ひょっとしてサトシ君と待ち合わせでしたか？
いえそういうわけじゃないです
そのおもちゃ屋さんのショーウィンドウはサトシ君もよく覗いていましたからね。それでてっきりサトシ君との待ち合わせか何かかなって思っちゃいまして。
Hello, train. I've been told that maybe it's not as noticeable as I thought. I guess last time when I started recording, I used to have my windows open a lot and stuff like that, so... Well, I'll just let you know the train's there, which is the same as breaking the flow. It's my good luck charm.
いえたまたまここを通りかかっただけです変えたみたいですねサトシ君
Irie seemed to know about the teddy bear as well. He smiled upon seeing its empty display case. Space.
昨日がサトコちゃんの誕生日でした。
What? Uh-oh. That's not good. Really? Yesterday was Satoto's birthday? That means Satoshi disappeared already. Well, that sucks. Shion's not gonna like that. I thought that was gonna happen in a little bit. It already happened just after the torture thing. Well, the fact that if it was yesterday, then that means the Sonozakis didn't do it. Now, obviously, they did tell Shion, oh, don't hang out with Satoshi, which might imply that they didn't do it, but at the same time, who knows, that could be a bait. It's not like they trust Shion fully, but the fact that, like, the main players of the family was torturing Shion yesterday probably means they didn't do it. The last person who's seen him was Oishi and his police bros. So there's that. I'm pretty sure he disappears on Satoko's birthday. I remember Keiichi being like, what the fuck? on that. So, well, this is getting interesting. Never mind. I guess the relationship with Satoshi isn't going to develop anymore. So that actually makes Shion's thing, protection for Satoshi, actually like almost useless, huh? Truly unfortunate. Oh, now I was already excited, now I just got boosted.
きっと あのぬいぐるみでそれをお祝いできたと思います。
I believe they said he bought the teddy bear, he went home, but then he disappeared.
じゃあもうサトシ君は無茶なアルバイトに精を出さなくてもいいわけですね。
そうですね。
サトシ君ってそのひなみ沢ファイターズ退部届とか出しちゃったんですか？
そんなもの出てたんですか？
Good one.
私は受け取ってませんよ。マネージャーの園崎さんは？
God, Erie is. He's literally. There's never been a time where I felt suspicious about him. Maybe once at that stupid line into Torigoroshi, which will like never leave my head, commenting on the Maibra household. Or in Himatsubushi, where the kid was trying to give him signals, but I don't think he ever ended up calling the police to help the kid. Stuff like that were like slightly suspicious, but he's been. I mean, yes, the time he tried to capture Teichi, yes, the time where he referenced the mind control drug, but I don't know. he feels nice. I honestly don't even feel the need to suspect him so much, but I'll continue on it. You're still on my radar, Iriade.
受け取ってないです。
Yeah.
誰も退部届を受け取ってないなら
But literally out of
ま
everyone,
だうちの部員ってことですね。
it feels like he has done like the least suspicious stuff. I mean, maybe Tomotaki, but
しばらくして
maybe
生活が
Chia.
落ち着いたらまた戻ってきてくれるんじゃ
Chia
ないかな
doesn't
って思
count.
って
Why
ま
is
す。
Chia a sprited character? It's still weird. She literally hasn't. She's literally like has the value of a non-sprited character
で
at the
もその
moment.
時に園崎さんがいなかったらきっと悲しむだろうな。
Yeah, this is just unfortunate. Irie teased me. He's a grown-up after all. He must have been trying to sound optimistic because he knew I was feeling a bit down.
園崎さんも落ち着いたらいつでもチームに帰ってきてください。あなたがいないとやっぱり寂しいですよ。園崎さんが帰ってきてくれたらぜひ女子マネージャーの制服を
Ah,
メイドさんな格好にしようと思ってまして。
perfect. Just what we were looking for. Thanks, Irie. I burst into laughter. Irie sure hadn't changed.
あ、そうだ。もう名乗ってもいいんだった。監督、今まで騙しててすみません。私、ミオンじゃないんです。
Oh, was he? I wasn't even noticing him calling her Mion. I mean, might as well just say it all.
シオンっていう双子の妹なんです。訳ありで今までずっとミオンのふりしてきました。
え双子の妹さんですか？
Yep, he was totally taken aback. I burst into laughter again.
そうです。
It's
その
pretty
時シオンと言い
insane.
園崎本家に嫌われてるんで、あまり堂々と暮らせる立場じゃないんですけどね。
知らなかったですよ。まさかミオンさんに双子の妹さんがいたなんて。
そりゃ全く同感です。
What's up, Oishi? Thanks for stopping the music. Suddenly, a loud voice interrupted us. The big O man. This time, we're not getting a friendly Oishi at all. Though again, even though Shion doesn't really like the Sonozakis, I don't think she likes Oishi. I thought there might be a possibility going into this, but yeah, you attacked Satoshi. I honestly, Shion might like hate Oishi more. Probably not more than Ori, but more than some of the other Sonozakis. He's probably gonna be asking where Satoshi is. The voice sounded mean and greasy, unlike Irie's. He's the grease man. It was him, Oishi. Sorry, taking. Gotta gulping down this kiwi strawberry drink.
入江先生もこんにちは。先日は遅くまでありがとうございました。
We know Irie and Oishi don't like each other, but I'm pretty sure that's just because Oishi's been harassing the Hojo, so I don't know if they hate each other right now.
いえ、何もお役に立てません。
Actually, no, they seem kind of.
申し訳ないです。
No, I don't know. Maybe he's a bit hostile. I don't know. Not as openly as in Totoro. They were just going through the motions. It was obvious that they hated each other. Never mind, I'm wrong. That's fine. I'm sure most people don't like Oishi around these parts. Irie whispered to me.
私はもうここを離れますが、一緒に車に乗りますか？
Save me.
お家まで送りますよ。
We already used our secret move on Oishi. I don't think we can do much more. Irie figured that Oishi was after me, so he was giving me a chance to slip away. Looking at Oishi's face, it was clear his focus was on me, not Irie. He probably intended to interrogate me until my testimony broke. I was sure I could talk my way out of it, but it'd just be a waste of time.
そうですね。
See ya, dude. He's probably gonna drop that. Do you know where Satoshi's been? To disrupt this flow. Because surprisingly, I didn't know what this part of the chapter would be like, but it's been pretty joyful. Like, I mean, solemn's kind of still sad, but still kind of joyful. This is gonna make stuff crazy, but we've already had our crazy fill. I don't want that anymore.
そろそろ行きましょうか。
ありゃ、お二人でどちらかにお出かけの途中でしたか？
ええ。チームの夕涼み会用に景品を探しているところだったんです。
Oh, Oishi, say that you like baseball, please. I want
他に
that.
も行くお店がたくさんありますので、この辺で私たちは失礼します。
We need some more people who say they like baseball. And so far, we have Satoshi, Iri, and Shion for potential manager candidates, and it's like probably Shion the most, honestly, now. Just because I don't like Iri being it without him being introduced in a. Though he might have been introduced without a sprite, I don't actually remember. In Honor Takushi. Ire bowed, and I followed suit. If Oishi says he likes baseball, though, then that might tip the scales. I had to admire how good he was at lying. He's a grown-up after all. Lying's a great skill to have. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I'm a pretty good liar. Maybe not on a Shion level, or Mion level, but I think I'm pretty good. Oishi seemed to know it was a lie, but he didn't have a warrant, so he couldn't stop us. I moved to get into Irie's car.
お怪我は大丈夫なんですか？
What, you know about that?
園崎しおんさん。
How the hell do you know about that? Oh wait, we do know about that. What? I mean, he has the informant, but like, I thought it was like more of just the higher ups. Yeah, so possibly it was the informant guy we met in Himatsubushi, but I don't know. I gasped when I heard that. My left hand was bandaged. Okay. Oh, wait, no, you saw it. Okay, never mind, you didn't see it. Yeah. It was unsightly, so I kept it in my pocket. There's no way Oishi could have been able to see it. Mr. Spy Man.
可能さえしなきゃ綺麗に治りますよ。私も子供の頃は何度か爪を剥いじゃったことがありましたがね。
How do you
ほら、綺麗なもん
tear
で
your
すよ。
whole fingernails off? It's just unbelievable to me. You sure you should be like just announcing this? I guess it doesn't matter because it's not like we're gonna report back to the Sonozakis, but
男の爪が綺麗でも気色悪いだけです。
hey, fingernails could look nice. I mean, mine just look normal. I always cut them like last minute, so But I guess they don't have any cracks in them, which is good. Oishi scratched his head and chuckled. He's supposed to be one of the best cops at Otonomiyapiri, and he knows about all the underground activities in the region. He must have heard about my payment from somewhere. Still, that happened in the secret basement of the Sonozaki main house. I couldn't underestimate this guy's sources.
お見舞い感謝感激です。じゃあもう行きますね。失礼します。
See ya. That didn't bait us
園
enough.
崎しおんさん
Don't drop the Satoshi name. It's our strength but weakness.
私とコーヒーでも飲みに行きません
I think he's actually letting us go.
はあ？何それ？私を口説いてんですか？
そういうことでもいいですよ
Ha 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 ha. New foo foo foo.
遠慮します。1日は有限24時間。わざわざ退屈なことに費やすなんて馬鹿げてますから。
You. It's a sit shutdown.
もう参ったなじゃあこうしましょう私とのおしゃべりが退屈になったらいつでも途中で帰っていいです
Stop it. Don't fall for this. Just
引き
leave.
止めませんそういう約束で
This
どうで
is
す
just baits after baits.
あんたが喋るのは勝手ですが、私は喋りませんよ。それをおしゃべりと呼べるかは怪しいですが。
Bro, all he needs to do is mention Satoshi and she's gonna she's gonna break up, I swear.
ねえ
Well,
それで結構
depends on
で
the
す
context, I guess.
シオンさんは聞き役で結構です
Are we really taking this up? Can't we just get Irie to
私が
drive
勝
us
手に
away?
一方的に喋るだけあなたはコーヒーでも飲みながら中年親父の独り言を聞き流してくださればそれで結構です
He was being strangely persistent. It didn't look like he was trying to poke a hole in my statement. What would he even talk about? I got a bit curious, even though I was still skeptical.
監督、すみません。
Eh,
私ちょっと大石のおじさまとデートに行こうと思います。
That's not great.
ミオじゃないシオンさん
I winked at him and told him not to worry. Irie didn't insist. He got in his car and drove off. Well, thanks for the possible assist, buddy. Looks like Shion's taking the bait, though. Oishi backed his car up so I got in. So I could get in. I hopped in the back seat since I didn't want to sit next to him. Gotta get that back
本
seat
当に喫
shot.
茶店に行くの？
あなたの親類の目がない喫茶店があるなら紹介してもらえると助かるんですがね
チェ、それなら勝手に連行でも何でもすればいい。
Oishi carefully checked for oncoming traffic and then started driving. Oishi took me to the police station as I thought he might. If he had taken me to a nice cafe, he would have scored some points. But whatever.
書の方が都合がいいと思ったから書にしただけです私の話が退屈になったら帰っていいという約束はもちろん守りますから安心してください
ま、私を退屈させないように頑張ってくださいな。署内には腕組んで入ってあげましょうか、おじさま。
Oishi chuckled and got out of the car. He escorted me inside the station. I thought he'd take me to an interrogation room, but instead he took me to an office of the investigation division. Blah. Officers in both suits and uniforms were working at their desks, answering phones. Oh, maybe this is the... Again, if we're going through events, maybe Shion is like the agent of the police, because, you know, how Keiichi and Rena joined forces with Oishi. This could be like the joined forces thing to help bring down the Sonozakis. Though obviously that doesn't work, but maybe. There was a desk with a plate that said section manager, and nearby there was couches and a table. Oishi told me to sit on the couch and started making some instant coffee. Yum. I'd never been to this part of the police station. I looked around in curiosity.
まさか取り調べ室でカツ丼でも食わされると思いました？
Yep, I did. Oishi brought over a tray with coffee cups on it.
想像してたより待遇が良くて驚いてます。おしらすに直で正座くらいは覚悟してたのに。
Well, we're not the Sonozakis. We don't do that here.
そういうのは私の趣味じゃないな。
で、おしゃべりを聞かせてくれるんじゃなかったでしたっけ？
じゃあ最初からいきなり担当直入に。シオンさんって北条聡さんのこと好き？
Just everyone knows that now, huh? I mean, I guess if his spy was there, he would have heard the love, the declaration of love.
はあ？速攻退屈なんで即帰りますよ。
じゃあ今のはなしということで。
Oishi must have known why I had to remove my fingernails. He wasn't trying to confirm that I liked Satoshi-kun. What he was really saying was that he knew already.
サトシ君の事件当日のアリバイなら先日熊谷刑事さんに全部お話ししたつもりです。
もちろん私も熊谷君の調書は読んでます。あなたがサトシ君と一緒にいたことは知ってます。
何度聞かれたって同じ話しかしませんよ私。しつこく反復して聞いたらそのうちにボロを出すとか考えてるなら大甘もいいとこです。
まさかそんなこと考えてません。あなたは頭のいい人です。そんな手に引っかかるなんて思っちゃいません。
ならどういう手を考えてるやら。どちらにせよ私からサトシ君のことを何か聞き出そうとしてもそれは無駄なことです。先日お話しした以上のことは何もありません。ああ残念。やっぱり退屈な話でしたね。私帰らせてもらいます。そういう約束でしたからね。失礼します。
I got up off the couch. Come on, just drop it. Just drop the bomb, alright? I know you're holding it, Oishi.
確かに私はあなたからサトシさんのアリバイを聞こうと思っていました。それは認めますよ。
なら決まりです。やっぱり退屈でした。帰ります。
God. Shion, apparently, aside from physical, her pride is still fully intact, huh? Probably why she even took the bait, just to out-talk Oishi. I turned around and started walking. He's gonna drop it. Oishi didn't get anxious, but instead spoke a little louder.
でもね、シオンさん。
Come on.
私が聞きたいのはサトシさんの事件当日のアリバイじゃない。昨日のアリバイなんです。
昨日？なんで昨日のアリバイなんかが聞かれるんですか？
I mean, I guess we don't know what he did in the morning, but
昨日のサトシ君のアリバイがおばさんが殺された事件とどう関係がある
here
って
we
んです？
go. We're gonna get a background noise drop into like a weird ringing bell into some ominous music. Are you ready? I'm ready. Here we go.
昨日、サトシ君が出かけたまま失踪されたからです。
Well, there's the bell. Yes. What?
サトシ君が失踪されたことはご存知なかった。
I mean, at this point, you can tell what they're gonna do, but it's always great. I love that tense feeling. My dude's gone, and she's gonna think it's the Sonozakis, and Oishi's gonna help confirm that, and that's gonna lead to some trouble. When I really don't think the Sonozakis did it, maybe? Honestly, the biggest suspect is like literally Oishi, because again, the last time we saw him was with Oishi, and I'm assuming like he let him go. I did mention a long time ago, like one of the, like how the murders are all done by different people. Like I did say that for one of them, Oishi could have possibly like framed the Sonozakis just so he could get closer. Maybe this is like something like that. I don't know. It's just how can you trust Oishi? And you know, when Satoshi gets involved, it's not like Shion's perfectly balanced. So, but this should be interesting. I couldn't say anything, but my expression answered Oishi's question anyway.
どういうことですか？失踪って何？
やっぱり座ったらどうです？
サトシ君が失踪したって。何？
一つ確実に分かっていることは、彼が3時前に沖宮の郵便局で貯金を全額下ろしているということだけです。
We know this. He took all his money, and that's why they thought he ran off, but at the same time he bought the teddy bear before he disappeared, which makes it weird. Why would he buy the teddy bear when he's gonna run off?
その後の足取りはつかめません。
But like, I don't know. I actually don't know if it's Oishi. It's just like, out of the possible suspects, it could be Rena. Rena's the loose cannon. The only other character that's really connected to Satoshi out of the bunch. Like, obviously, I don't think it's Rika. Don't think it's Satoto. So it's Sonozaki's Oishi or Rena. Take your pick. I'm not counting Irie. I'm not counting, I don't know, who's Tomotaki, Takano. I do think Takano could commit some murders, but we literally just haven't seen her yet, so I'm just gonna say no. And I don't think Tomotaki did it, so we have our suspects. We just need to keep our eyes open. I knew why he wanted to withdraw the money. He wanted to buy Satoto's birthday present. Yes, he definitely bought that teddy bear yesterday.
これは私の想像ですよ。彼はひょっとしてそのお金でどっか遠くに蒸発したんじゃないかなって。
逃走資金だってんですか？バッカバカしい。あのお金はね、サトコの誕生日プレゼントを買うためにサトシ君が貯めていたんです。
And it seems a weird time to skip town after the ant was murdered. I mean, never mind. That's to run away from getting caught. I was gonna say, like, since the ant's gone, the harassment would stop, but if you did kill her, then I guess it's a pretty good time to skip.
それであのおもちゃ屋にあったでかくて高いぬいぐるみを買ったんです。逃走に使うお金になんかなるわけないです。
確かにあのおもちゃ屋から一番高いぬいぐるみが売れていました。でもね、それをサトシ君が買った
It was
確証が取れないんです。
preserved, dude. Sorry, I'm not even muting. This is too much.
店の
Ignore
人に
the
聞けばそんなのわかりますって。私とサトシ君で買う予約までしてるんですから。
I had a bad feeling. That old man who was watching that store was sleeping when we were there. He looked very senile. Maybe he was also watching that store on that day, and even though Satoshi couldn't bought the teddy bear, he didn't remember. Oishi put on a wire smile. It looked like he'd already tried to question that old man. Well, that's just great.
とにかくあれを買ったのはサトシ君なんです。
Who else is gonna buy that big ass teddy bear? Maybe the stall guy from the next year, where we fight to get that big teddy bear. If they're the same thing.
サトシ君はぬいぐるみの金額ギリギリしかお金がなかったはずだから。ぬいぐるみ代を支払ってさらに逃亡資金を用意できたなんて
I
思い
mean,
ません。
as predicted, obviously Shion's just letting it all out once Satoshi's name gets called on. It's like, it's too much, Shion. It's your kryptonite and your superpower.
めちゃめちゃもいいとこです。
いいですよ。
But I want to trust Oishi more, even though he is super sus. I guess just from Himatsubushi, I kind of want to trust him more, but I got my eyes on you since you're one of the 3 suspects.
じゃあサトシ君がぬいぐるみを買ったことでもいいです。じゃあそのぬいぐるみを持ってどうして帰らなかったんですか？
Okay, inverted glass shape breaking actually sent a shiver up my spine. Wonderful. At that point, I felt as though my heart had turned to ice. Satoshi couldn't have been working hard to buy that teddy bear even though he was under extreme mental and physical stress. After all that, he finally managed to buy it. It's unthinkable that somebody else just showed up and bought the same teddy bear. The teddy bear was gone because Satoshi couldn't bought it. Nobody else. But if so, Satoshi-kun should have given it to Satoko. But though he bought a present for her, he didn't come home. Uh-oh. I don't like those black squiggles. He didn't come home. That was impossible. He would have gone straight home with that teddy bear. He wouldn't think of running away after buying the teddy bear, even though Satoshi-kun wanted to run away from the police. He'd never leave without giving Satoko her present. Anyway, it must have been Satoshi-kun who had bought that teddy bear. I can say that with 100% certainty. The question was, why didn't he bring it home? Oh, that's a better background. Less spooky for me. That teddy bear was huge. It wouldn't fit into the basket of a bicycle. He might have brought some straps to tie it to his bike. He wouldn't have thought of running away on a wobbly bicycle like that. He necessarily had to go home after buying the teddy bear from the store after withdrawing the money. Oh, back to that. Nothing could have happened when he was going between the ATM and the toy store. It was impossible. Nobody else could have bought that teddy bear. Never. That teddy bear had been sitting in the showcase up until that day. Everybody could see it when they passed by, but nobody wanted it. It's impossible that it could have been somebody else. There should be no questions that he went to the toy store after he withdrew the money. What about the route between the toy store and his home? There shouldn't be any questions there either. He shouldn't have been able to do anything with that huge toy. He shouldn't even have thought of making a stop on the way. So he must have headed home, right after he bought the teddy bear. But nobody saw him after that. It was simple then. Satoshi-kun went missing on his way home from the toy store. He went missing? What did that mean? I was sure he killed his aunt. He's not that shrewd. Maybe he couldn't bear the pressure from the police? Was he resigned to the idea that the police were going to arrest him soon regardless of my help? Did he decide to run away? Did he think that he should disappear until things cooled down rather than get arrested? That was definitely absolutely impossible. It was impossible that he came to that conclusion on his way home from the toy store. Even if he did, he would have waited until he gave Satoko her birthday present. Satoshi-kun loved Satoko. He shouldn't have spoiled her like that, but anyway, he always tried to be a good brother to her. So he never disappeared before going home. Yo, inverted red background? That's spooky. I felt as though ice was cutting through my heart, expanding the frost. If Satoshi-kun didn't disappear by his own will, the answer was simple. Satoshi-kun disappeared by somebody else's will.
サトシ君が
Eliminated.
消された。
Jesus. That's not a good laugh.
バカバカしいです。やっぱり退屈な話ですよ、おじさま。
I thought I could shake off the frost in my heart if I laughed loudly enough. I kept laughing until it happened. I kept laughing and laughing. All the cops in the room stared at me. They thought I'd gone crazy. I didn't care what they thought. I kept laughing until it turned into a cough. I finished laughing and took a sip of lukewarm coffee. I felt as though the frost in my heart had spread all throughout my guts. I was chilled to the bone. I was freezing. My fingers shook as I held the coffee cup.
シオンさん、ちょっと口を挟まずに聞いててほしいんです。これから私がちょいと想像した話を申し上げます。
Yeah?
全部でっち上げです。
Yeah, I can guess what that theory is.
だからきっとシオンさんはあまりのいい加減な内容に吹き出しちゃいそうになるかもしれません。それでも最後まで黙って聞いていてほしいんです。約束してもらえます？
いや、約束なんて何でもするから。
What you got,
早く言い
Oishi?
なさいよ。
As a theory master, I will allow it. I was feeling too cold. My teeth were chattering. I felt as though my brain had frozen as well. I lost my ability to think. I couldn't do anything by myself. I could only do as Oishi told me. Was he going to tell me what he was going to tell me might be the worst possible theory? But I had to listen to it.
死んだおばがサトシ君とサトコさんをいじめていたことはよーく聞いています。中でもサトコさんを執拗にいじめていたこともね。その中でサトシ君が妹をかばうためにおばに殺意を募らせていったとしても、私は人として自然な流れだと思います。
I had to deny that Satoshi-kun murdered her, but what Oishi was saying was true. I couldn't deny his hypothesis right away. I just kept silent.
ここからは空想ですよ。絶対に怒らないでください。口を挟むのもなし。いいですね。
分かってるから。早く続けなさいよ。
What is this?
北条サトシはおば殺しを計画し
This
実
is
行した。
definitely a new track. It's kind of great. What the heck? I love it.
もちろん証拠なんてありませんよ。全部私の妄想です。
分かってるって。あんたの妄想なのは百も承知。だから早く続けて。
ここで話は変わります。シオンさん、あなたはサトシ君との交際を禁じられたんですよね。もう忘れろ。二度と関わるなと念をされたんですよね。それは実は不仲な両家の関係を意味嫌ったからでなく、殺人犯と園崎家の令嬢が恋仲であることに問題があったんじゃないかと思ったんです。
Possibly, but I think they also just hated the Hojos too. It could be a mix of both, though. It's reasonable. That is actually possible. After all, when I was pretending to be Mion, I already had a connection with Satoshi-kun. Before anyone knew it, it was Shion who was spending time around him. I could have been accused when I was helping out the Hinumizawa fighters if the relationship between the Hojos and the Sonozakis was the problem. It wouldn't be difficult for the Sonozaki family to know that Satoshi-kun murdered his aunt if it happened in Hinumizawa. Maybe one of them even saw the murder. The Sonozaki family didn't like that I was in love with the murderer. They decided to step in. Feel like they wouldn't. I mean, morally, they wouldn't really care too much about it, but maybe that's too much. You know, torture's not murder. But this is, I guess, interesting, because because I guess Mion, or fake Mion, has been seen getting closer with Satoshi throughout the weeks, and it didn't seem like they cared too much. So there's that, I guess.
あなた諦めが悪いことでも知られてるんじゃないですか。
Basically saying the Sonozakis did it. Yes, yes. Classic Oishi.
つまり園崎本家にサトシ君との縁を切れと脅されて爪を剥がされてもサトシ君との縁を切りかねていましたよね。
Man, I really kind of like the idea that Oishi's just doing this to get Shion to help him expose the Sonozakis. But at the same time, you know that Oishi hates the Sonozakis to the point where he always suspects them almost. So like, maybe he doesn't have to be some big brain chess move plan by doing whatever he did to Satoshi, and maybe he actually just thinks that they did it. Could be possible. I couldn't deny that. I lost most of my means to access Hinamizawa, so my ties to Satoshi-kun were essentially cut. True. But I still knew Satoshi-kun's phone number, and I expected him to rejoin the Hinamizawa fighters eventually.
園崎本家はサトシ君とあなたの縁はちょっと脅しただけじゃ絶対に切れないと分かっていたと思います。あなたをいくら脅してもどうにもならない。じゃあもう一人の方をどうにかするしかないですよね。
どうにかって何？どうにかって何よ？何？
Nanny? If threatening me was useless, then they'd do something about Satoshi-kun. What would they have done? If they pulled something, then wouldn't that interrupt his path from the toy store to home? Toy store to home. Toy store to Etz to home. What's Etz? What is Etz? Etz marks the spot where his path was interrupted. But what interrupted it? Why couldn't Satoshi-kun make it home from the toy store if something interrupted him? Why? What's Etz? Etz! I ran out of air, became dizzy, and then collapsed. Oh, okay. The floor felt cold. I didn't expect that, but I guess... Yes. Fainting. Jeez. Pure, raw emotion. I felt no pain. I had fallen to the floor like a plastic doll. Oishi and some others rushed over to me and helped me up. Well,
落ち着いてシオンさん。サトシ君が殺されたとはまだ限りません。
you just wanna... I feel like he also just kind of wants to raid the place. You're not certain he was killed? What the fuck are you talking about? Don't you know about the torture room where they forced me to rip off my fingernails? Don't you know that they say there are prison cells and a well for disposing of corpses in the back? Okay, so that's common knowledge about the well. But I guess they did find the well, but it did sound like they were searching for a couple days for it. But I guess even if you know about it, it doesn't mean you'd immediately find it, huh? If the Sonozaki family wants to eliminate somebody, they definitely kill them in that torture room and dump the body down there. You are not certain? Are you dumb? I mean, there were skeletons down there, so maybe he was disposed there. Is your brain made of tofu? If I were in the Hate's position, I'd kill him for sure. I wouldn't let him get away. I would kill him, then the Hate would definitely kill him. You see, I mean, again, Shion's literally going insane right now, so this is all like pure rage and emotion. But I'm sure like torturing's one thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
シオンさん落ち着いて。
Again, this is Oishi leading the conversation for anti-Sonozaki talk. It's like the least reliable thing. Well, not the least, but it's not something that you completely ever want to buy into.
これはまだ未確認情報ですが、 名古屋駅で家出人風の若者を見たという情報が入っています。
Well,
東京行きの新幹線に乗ったそうです。
I mean, Oishi did say that his main theory was Satoshi actually just ran away.
服装の特徴などが一致しませんでしたが、警察の追跡等を意識して衣替えをしている可能性もあります。服装が違うからサトシ君でないとは言い切れませんよ。
生きてるの？サトシ君生きてる？
ここからもまた私の想像になりますがね。
What's up?
あなたの双子のお姉さんのミヨンさん、次期当主ということで園崎お涼の身近にいますよね。園崎お涼はおそらく最初はサトシ君をそれを
Oh,
あなたのお姉さんが止めたんじゃないかと思うんです。
honestly, I don't need to believe that at all. From what we've seen, I honestly think Oryu would be the one to stop Mion from killing someone. Which I mean is a stretch, I guess. It's just literally just from that Himatsubushi hint. But yeah, we know Mion does not treat her enemies of the village lightly, while Oryu doesn't really like to step into murder. Like, it did show that she has some morals. I guess she can be extra harsh with Shion because she doesn't like Shion, but I'm sure, I don't know. So I don't know if this is completely true. Mion, that was possible. She could have tried to calm things down out of pity for me. That idiot was always so indecisive. She should have been clear on if she wanted to save him or not. But she probably seemed vague about that. I mean, you have all these, like, interpretations of Mion, but she seemed super clear, super decisive during the torture stuff. I don't know. I mean, Shion wouldn't know any of this stuff, but I feel like Mion would be. If Satoshi was branded as an enemy, Mion would deal with it. Not that I think she did it, but I don't think she particularly would, like, actively try to stop him from being killed if a hit was put out on him. She must have persuaded the head to reduce the punishment to banishment instead of death, just to avoid feeling guilty.
おそらく園崎本家はサトシ君と接触したでしょう。今回の事件はかばいきれない。だから自分の身は自分で守るためにどこかへ姿を隠せと忠告したはずです。
I mean, that's not a horrible take either. That sounds super simple, and they've been saying that he transferred away. It doesn't really go with that, but it's an alright idea.
いや、強要したと言った方が似合うでしょうね。
サトシ君は絶対拒否すると思います。だってあのサトシ君が妹を一人残してひなみ沢を離れられるわけがない。
That's true.
私もそう思います。
But I mean, if they promise she would be in good hands with like Rika and whatever.
確かサトシ君は園崎美音さんの紹介でバイトをしてましたよね。だからサトシ君に逃走資金になるまとまったお金があることを知っていたと思います。
でもサトシ君はそのお金をぬいぐるみを買う以外には絶対に使わないはずです。
でしょうね。サトシ君は貯金を下ろしたら迷うことなくおもちゃ屋に向かうでしょう。でももしですよ。
Look at that face.
サトシ君がおもちゃ屋にたどり着くと
By the
ぬいぐるみが売れてし
Sonozakis.
まっていてなくなっていたら
Honestly, I don't hate the idea that that big ass teddy bear from Anatakashi was the teddy bear from if that was, I think that was a teddy bear. I honestly don't remember, from the toy store, and that was from a Sonozaki stand owner. So that maybe that's a hint. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I do remember why, because that scene was fun, but possibly. That's interesting. That's a good take, Alicia. I didn't even think about that. What if someone actually bought it? So like then they left him a message, hey, if you want this teddy bear, follow my instructions, and then whatever happened to him after that happened. That would have been a very desolate situation. He'd been working hard. While his aunt abused him, he worked many different jobs. The money was worth all that pain. He went to the toy store with that money in order to buy his beloved sister a present. That was the only purpose for that money. He must have looked for the teddy bear as he'd always done, but it was gone. He wouldn't have gone into panic right away, because he was always so optimistic. He might have thought that the store was wrapping the gift for him because he told them that he'd pick it up that day. He must have gone into the store joyously. I could guess exactly what happened next. My heart would tear up if I tried to imagine it anyway. Why didn't they have it, even though he had it reserved? Ah, I see what they could say. What if the old man actually remembered, or whoever was selling it remembered the two people who reserved it, and it was Mion who bought it because Shion was dressed as Mion? That's a good one. I can totally see that. Okay, I like this line actually. It's kind of spicy. Maybe it would have been the same even if it wasn't that old man who was at the store at the time. I wonder if they'll bring it up. Probably a wish. A wish, maybe. If they don't bring it up, then I still think it's a good line to think about. It's definitely a good possibility. If a bunch of fierce-looking subordinates from the Sonozaki family went in and showed them money, nobody could ever reject it. Okay, so she just thinks thuds take it. I think Mion can do a nice stealth mission and take it, though. Satoshi-kun must have sunk into silence. No matter how hard he complained, the teddy bear was gone. He probably never even considered that his dream might be taken away. He must have been wobbling his way home in sorrow, leaning on the telephone poles every now and then. It was the day he wanted Satoko to be happy the most. He couldn't get the present she wanted the most. He probably didn't think of getting another gift, because it was unimaginable that he couldn't get the teddy bear. He might have imagined how Satoko would react when she found out that he had no present for her. He must have looked unbelievably sad and empty. The money he'd been saving meant nothing anymore. Satoshi-kun never cried even at his toughest moments. Did he even know how to cry? It was always Satoko who was crying, so Satoshi-kun never learned how to cry, and he grew up that way. Did he know? People shed sadness from their hearts with tears. Satoshi-kun wasn't even allowed to do that. Even though his heart was filled with sorrow, he couldn't let it out.
妹を一人残してひなみ沢を離れられないと言いましたね。でももしも園崎本家が残った聡子さんの面倒は見るって言ってあったとしたらどう思います？
After Satoshi-kun found out the teddy bear was gone, all he had left were some crumpled bills. The family told him it was just a matter of time before the police got to him. They told him to run away. They said they'd take care of Satoko. Satoshi-kun didn't feel like seeing his sister. He wandered and found himself at Otonomiya Station. Now, obviously, he's saying all this, like, just as we learned that Satoshi-kun disappeared probably isn't accurate. But you can definitely take some small parts from it and think about that. Because I know people like to ignore theories that actually pop up by people since it's too easy, but I always think that's silly. So I don't hate this line. I kind of liked my idea that Mion took the teddy bear. If they had to. If someone had to. It could be Mion. Or the old man just literally didn't remember. He must have been apologizing to Satoko so many times in his mind. He swore to come back someday. He headed to Nagoya and then to Tokyo. But that meant He's alive. He is alive. I should be able to see him again someday. He must be coming back, so I'll definitely see him again.
そうしてずっと遠方に隠れ家か受け入れ先を用意してくれたんじゃないかと思います。サトシ君はそこを目指したのでしょう。
じゃあ無事なんだ。いつか帰ってくるんですよね。
God, look how open Shion is right now. It's not great. I wish he looked up at the ceiling and stretched. He didn't answer me. On June 24th, 1982, Satoshi Hojo went missing. There's a possibility that he ran away, as he was the prime suspect of the murder that happened on the 20th of the same month. Allegedly, someone resembling him was seen at Nagoya Station embarking on a train heading to Tokyo, but the truth is unknown. No one has seen him since. Well, it's not great. As a matter of fact, no one even knows if he's still alive. Well, that goes with if no one's seen him since, so. That's a chapter end, please. Thank you. Oh, Jesus, an hour, 20 minutes? These sessions have been long. I mean, this chapter has been super long. Are we read it? I mean, I might as well just read it. 2 a.m. Beautiful. Train to nowhere. We'll talk more about this, I'm sure, at the beginning of the next one. Let's just try to wrap this up. I didn't even realize how long it's been. 2 pink notebooks. Probably Shion's. The information that Satoshi-kun might have headed to Tokyo hasn't been verified. Also, again, like I said, I trust the notebooks more than like Shion, who's literally going crazy with love. It started as follows. A young man came to the lost and found window looking for his wallet. The station employee asked him to write down his name on the form. Then the young man stated writing Hojo as his name, but he stopped in the middle, crumpled the form, and wrote a totally different name on another form. Another station employee witnessed a similar looking young man rushing into the train heading to Tokyo. The employee from the Lost and Found and the employee who was on the platform talked about the suspicious young man in the locker room. That was all. The wallet of the man named Hojo was never reported as found to the Lost and Found office. Well, that's actually very good information. I mean, that sounds like Satoshi, but I guess it doesn't have to be. This could also just be an elaborate bait from the culprit of whatever happened to Satoshi. Or he either got someone young, or it could be a clue that it was a young person. And then they just like made it super suspicious by saying that he was a Hojo, as he was writing down the name. But if not, then I mean that's pretty good information that he did run away, which is surprising. Next one. Something to think about. See, notebooks are based. And all the hints have been notebooks, so we're just getting lots of good information. Sorry about that. Punched my mic. At first I thought Oishi's theory that the Sonozaki family banished Satoshi-kun from Hinamizawa and looked after Satoto in return was bogus. Really? It feels like you really liked it. I mean, I just looking at it after. It's just hard to trust Oishi, but it's not a bad theory. It's honestly pretty solid. But thinking about it now, it doesn't seem too far-fetched. God, this could be like the note. Imagine at the end of this chapter, it's Shion like proclaims that she's gonna take revenge on the Sonozakis or something. I don't know. After all, Satoto Hojo started living with Rika Furude after Satoshi-kun's disappearance. Rika Furude isn't just a regular girl. She was the head of the Furude family, one of the 3 families. The head of the Kimiyoshi family is Rika Furude's guardian. The Sonozaki family probably couldn't step in due to having been officially opposed to the Hojo family. But Satoto Hojo is in the custody of the three families now. It's also important to note that Rita's just very probably best friends with Satoto, so it's not too far-fetched that she would look after Satoto. And obviously Rita's super mature for her age, so I don't necessarily need to think that the Sonozakis were the one to arrange it. Obviously, some people would probably object to Rita doing it, but like, what are you gonna say? No to Rita? I doubt it. But I see what she's saying. Even though the Hojo family was severely ostracized during the dam conflict, Satoto Hojo was now under protection. It seems as though only Satoto was exempted from blame. Why was she spared even though Satoshi-kun wasn't? Oh, she didn't murder somebody. I mean, maybe she murdered somebody. Maybe she murdered the parents. But then Satoshi-kun murdered the aunt, which is like almost just as good. I don't know. Definitely stuff to think about. The tired wave is hitting me, so I'm glad we're finishing it up now. Really good chapter. I really didn't expect Satoshi-kun to literally disappear that soon, but he's gone now, so things should spice up. I'm expecting a nice talk with Mion. Try to get information. I mean, even if Mion knew, I'm sure, like I said, her super loyalty to the village, she probably wouldn't blab about it, but yeah, this should, I mean, it's already been spicy, but this should actually get like spooky spicy now. And then Oishi's theory, it's not a bad one. I think it's pretty good. It's Oishi making a theory, an anti-Sonozaki theory, you know? It's just too hard to trust. But yeah, thank you for watching. I done a long episode. What can I do? I'm sticking to my guns with this 2 episodes to finish a chapter guideline, so we're just gonna keep doing that. I kind of like the flow of it, because then, you know, in other cases there's like finish a chapter, then we go into the next one, and then it's all splintered. So I kind of like it like that. But if you enjoyed, thank you. I guess feel free to watch the next one, which is the next day after, whenever you watch it. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy the rest of it. I'm loving this, honestly. I think this is a very fun arc. Very different, which is good. You want to make like to begin the answer, having it feel pretty different is usually a good thing. So yeah, excited to see it next time, and I'll talk to you then. Bye. And good night / good morning, I guess, if you're watching this at noon.